Here we have a melt-in-your-mouth pickled pork with the Parmesan, basil and oregano roux. So firstly, we're going to take 2 carrots and 1 onion that I've peeled and cut in half. I'm going to take my piece of pickled pork, place it in the slow cooker, and I'm going to add my vegetables around the side. I'm going to take 1 apple and cut it in half, and I'm also going to add that round the side. Now I've cut my carrots into 3 pieces just to break it up a little bit. We're going to add our peppercorns. I'm just going to put them on top of the meat, and we're going to add our clove powder. If you're using whole cloves, then you're about 8, and I'm just going to sprinkle that around the outside over the top of the vegetables and the apple like this. And next I'm just going to drizzle the honey over the top of the pork. Just make sure you get it all out of that container and just drizzle it over the top like this. This is a very quick and simple recipe. I'm using an 8-in-1 cooker, but you can use a slow cooker. I'm just interested to see the time difference with this. It normally takes about 8 hours. So next we're going to get our brown sugar, and I'm going to place that around the side also like this. Just break it up if you've got some clumps. And then we're going to add our vinegar. Just going to add that around the side also like this. Now I'm going to add my vegetable stock. Now I like to use this Vigator, but you can just use a cup of vegetable stock and put it in there. Once we've put the vegetable stock in, we're just going to top this whole thing up with water until the meat is covered and looks like this. And now I'm just going to put the lid on, and I'm going to set it for 120 degrees, and I'm going to set the timer for 8 hours, because that's how long it normally takes to do this in a slow cooker. But I'm going to check it after about 5 hours just to see how it's going. So there we are. Once we've set that timer, we're going to put the lid on, and then I'm not going to come back. I'm not going to touch it for about 5.5 hours. I'm just going to come back then and check it. So here we are after 5.5 hours, and I've put my knife in, and this is actually cooked. So it did take a lot less than what it did in a traditional slow cooker. So now I'm just going to take it out. I'm going to let it sit for 15 minutes, and then we're going to slice it up. So as you can see, that life just goes through there like butter. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to cut this into fairly wide chunks, and then we're going to make that beautiful roux to go over the top of it. Now of course at this point you can say goodbye and just eat your meat, or you can continue to watch the video to get the recipe for that delicious roux that accompanies this meat so very, very well. So I'm just going to plate this up like this, and then we're going to make our roux. So these are the ingredients for the roux. So we firstly just going to melt that butter over a hot heat until it's all completely melted like this. And then I'm going to add our herbs. So we're going to add a little bit of oregano and a little bit of basil. And then we're going to add our flour to this, and I'm just going to stir that all together until it all becomes combined and makes a thick mixture. Now once I get it to this point, I'm going to turn my stove top down, and I'm simply going to add milk in about 1/4 cup intervals until this all starts to blend together and become nice, soft and creamy. Once all the lumps have disappeared, I'm then going to get a hand blender, this small hand blender that I got from Temu, which is absolutely worth its weight in gold. I use it so much more than I use my electric one. And I'm just going to add a little bit more milk, mix it all around, and you're looking for a thick pouring consistency. At this point I'm going to add my cheese, give it one last blast with that little super hand mixer. Make sure all that cheese is combined into that sauce. And this is what we're looking for. You can see it's still thick, but it really is of a dripping consistency. So I'll get the spoon and show you in a second exactly what that means. So there we go, it's done now. So when I get the spoon, look at that. So you see how that pours down, and that will thicken up slightly as well. So now I'm just going to pour this over the top of that meat. This smells absolutely delicious, and it tastes amazing. That roux flavour with the pickled pork is absolutely sensational. I'm going to plate mine up today with some Nanny D's zucchini bites, and look at that, absolutely delicious. This is very quick and easy. Once you've put all the ingredients into that slow cooker, you just walk away and leave it. You come home, eat it, look at that, absolutely amazing. I do hope you give this recipe a try because it really is one of my favourites.